doing math with RHB, and we're looking at prime factorization of a number. I'm going to get it a little close to the screen. Sometimes the camera doesn't always show it very clearly, but this is lesson 21, prime factorization of a number, using the overhead, so it's going to get bright for a second. That's it. We've already talked about prime numbers and composite numbers, what they are. Something called prime factorization of a number, we're going to use something called factor trees and a repeated division method. First method is factor trees. And it looks kind of just like it sounds. You start with a number at the top, in our case 32, and you divide it into two sections. And we have our lines already down. I'm going to put little arrows at the bottom. And you look for the two largest numbers that will multiply together to give you 32. So in this case, 4 times 8. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Keeps getting stuck on this one little thing. So 4 times 8. Alright, 4 is not a prime number, 8's not a prime number. What we're trying to get to is the very bottom where you have only prime numbers. That's why it's called prime factorization. So 4 can multiply, obviously 1 times 4, but that's going to leave you with the same problem. So you still have to take the number down. So 4, okay, 1 times 4 works obviously, but then you still have 4 and have to divide again, so that's just a waste of time. So the other option is 2 times 2. Okay, 2 is a prime number. That's as low as that's going to go. To multiply by 8, you're going to go 2 times 4 or 4 times 2. All right, you've got that multiply sign in there. Fix it. All right, so we already have our prime factors on this side. We don't have to do anything more than that, just write them again. Right there, just arrow them down. Okay, 4 will divide into lower factors. So 2 times 2 will give you 4, and the last one is again times 2. If you want to know if you did it right, multiply out the bottom and you should end up with the top. Now I have something here, one whole line. What does that mean? So start with 32 in this case. We're going to use a whole line on your lined paper for the arrow, so you don't have numbers and arrows trying to divide itself into the same line. Use a whole line. Space it out, that way you can read it. Alright, at the bottom, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 gives me 32. Right? These are the lowest I can go for prime numbers. That's it. 24, same thing. Find the largest grouping of numbers that you can multiply out to get 24. So we're going to try 3 times 8. 3 times 8 gives me 24. Now 3 is a prime factor. 1 times 3 is all you can do. 8 is not a prime factor, so we're going to have a multiply sign here, and then we're going to split this one again. So 1 times 8 will land me back in the same problem, so I need to go, not 1 times 8, that's a very bad arrow. Right, 2 times 4. So we'll go 2 times 4, which will give me 8. So I'm using the 3, that's a prime factor, so it's just getting written underneath. The multiply sign follows down. The 2 is a prime factor, it's just getting written down. Multiply sign, 4 still needs to divide out. So 4, you end up with 2 times 2. So if I multiply all of these together, I should end up with 24. So I have 3 times 2 is, what's 3 times 2? 6. Times 2 is 12, times 2 is 24. So I should end up with back up here. If that works, and you've got only prime numbers at the bottom, and you've done it correctly. We'll take a look at the repeated division method.